This is Eagle Al, and let's get straight into it. Let's talk about K'Von Wallace. So K'Von Wallace today, well, you guys will see it tomorrow, or whatever you want to say, or yesterday, I should say. He put out recorded zero missed tackles last year. By the way, I think this was addressed to his critics and haters because we get on Quez a lot, but there is a guy we don't talk about a lot who just completely disappeared, to be honest, was K'Von Wallace. K'Von Wallace, sadly, these are the three things, in my opinion, people remember him by. He get drafted, they call him baby weaponettes. That's what people called him. They called him baby weaponettes. So he came in to the Eagles facility with a lot of expectations. He get his opportunity, and it was against the best tight end at the time, or the second best tight end in the league at the time, George Kittle. And George Kittle right now still top four, top five, at least. And he got cooked. He got cooked. That's a game they remember him by. Those are two things. The third thing is injuries. He had another game against San Francisco. I think he went in for a tackle head first and got hurt. So those are the top three things people remember K'Von Wallace by. And since then, seemed like he just couldn't recover. Really good special teams guy for sure. But when you drafted, it was third round, fourth round? When you drafted that high, they expected him to basically take over for like when the Rodney McLeods leave of the world, when Jalen Mills and those guys leave. They expected him to translate in that spot. And unfortunately, it just did not happen. And it's sad that he's remembered by those things, but that's just reality. In my opinion, he didn't get too much opportunity or enough opportunity for me to really judge him. That's just my personal opinion. But when he was in there, he's not the best cover safety. He's more of a box safety. That's just who he is. He can hit a bit, but his covering skills just never really developed like I thought it was. But yeah, man, this is a little bit misleading. I think he played about 7, 8 snaps. If you're that limited of snaps, you better not miss a tackle. But when he was in last year, he did pretty well because if I'm him, and when C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down and they started Reed Blankenship over me, that would make me feel some type of way. That would make me feel some type of way. So the organization let him know, like, yo, you're not it, and we're going to draft Sidney Brown. So they low-key kicking him out the facility because even with special teams, where do he fit in? Because I think Keely Ringo is going to get, some special teams time. So, K'Von Wallace, if he's on the roster, he's hanging on by a very, 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 very thin thread because I don't see him. When we mention a competition for safety, we don't put him in there. We say three guys. We say Edmonds, we say Reed Blankenship, and we say Sidney Brown. We don't say anybody else. Maybe he stayed because just as a fourth safety, but if he's the fourth safety, how much playing time he's going to get? That's just, like I said, that's just the sad reality of K'Von Wallace. He wasn't really given enough opportunities, but how many opportunities you could give to an injured guy? And when we seen him on the field, they remember George Kittle just cooking this dude. And it's George Kittle, but like I said, just the sad reality. And I just think that high expectation calling him baby weaponettes, then coming from the same school Brian Dawkins came from, it was too high of an expectation where guys just really, really needed to develop. You'll see a flash here and there, but man, he just never developed to the safety we wanted him to be, unfortunately. He'll be lucky. Like I said, he will be lucky to make the roster, man. And this is just a guy we totally forget about. At least we mentioned that Quez Watkins, which is a good thing, letting it be known that he can still develop and be something. And we know he got the speed, the talent. To me, it's more mental with Quez. And whereas though K'Von Wallace, it's like he's mentally strong. He wants to be that guy, but when he's on the field, you just don't see it. It's like it's not there. And like I said, if I were him, and when CJ Garner Johnson went down, they was like, Reed Blankenship, we want you, undrafted free agent, over a former third round, fourth round guy. I'm definitely feeling some type of way. But let me talk about my guy Maro Ojomo. Sometimes we forget about him, and we mentioned the defensive ends, defensive tackles. We put Ojomo in there, man. Gotta show him some love. I know we talk about Nolan Smith. He was a steal for sure. Jalen Carter was a steal for sure. But Ojomo, when you really look at it, I think he supposed to win like 4th, 5th round. We got him 7th round. Dude is a steal. I like his first step. Coming off the edge, even coming up the middle. He's definitely athletic. In my opinion, him being in college for 5 years give him a very, very high upper hand. And why was he in college for 5 years? He went to college at 16. So he got a lot of experience. And when you read the draft reports about him, they saying like it's more of like limited production and what scheme you run will fit him, because if it's not the right scheme, maybe he's not going to be that productive. But what's the difference between him and Lucas Van Ness? And to me, he got more moves than Lucas Van Ness, and Lucas Van Ness went 1st round. I think Ojomo can be better. But the competition nobody's talking about with Ojomo is Ojomo versus Derek Barnett. I don't see another guy. I was just talking about K'Von Wallace. Another guy. It's going to be really hard for him to make this team, man. I mean, fortunately, he tore his ACL. And when he tore his ACL, we seemed like, I hate to sound like this, but it seemed like we had a better defensive end rotation. Sorry to say that, but it's the truth. And also, Ojomo, he get criticized about his pass rush. I mean, yeah, 5.5 sacks is not that good for a college career for sure. But 64 QB hurries is really, really good. We already know how he is against the run. And you see these clips right here. Just him going to get the pass rusher, him going against the run. Then you see like what should be coming up right now is the run drill. I mean, the one-on-one drills with him and the offensive lineman. He just showed his strength. Like, Ojomo is a dog, man. I really can't wait to see him play. When I talk about defensive rotation, of course, you got Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. Then you got Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith. I think you got to add a little Ojomo in there. Don't forget about Milton Williams. I think Derek Barnett is going to be the odd man out, in my opinion. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about K'Von Wallace sending out this cryptic tweet, and also Ojomo? I think he's the next guy up. Man. But this is Eagle Al. I'm out.